Okay, I am live for an unusual. There, I just did something weird. For a very unusual but weird, uh, unusual and weird thing. Not usual. I mean, you could ask questions about politics, maybe some personal questions, but amid that, I am practicing just for my own self, not because I've been asked to, nor would anyone ever ask me to do this, but possible Shakespeare because I've talked about it with other people. And every time I talked about it with other people, I'm like, yeah, that's something I've always wanted to do too. And then recently, I may take an acting class. I don't know. Well, I work at a dinner theater. So, here's the thing. In this past year of working at it, and hello, everyone, it's Amy. Um, in this past year of working at a dinner theater, it's had its ups and downs. And generally, I like the environment. I actually liked working at the movie theater better because that was more of my environment. Um, but then I had the jerk who went off on me, and really, I should have sued them. I should have sued them for what happened there because I still wish that I could work there. I was very happy at the movie, and I had moments of joy. Um, and okay, so acting, I've been drawn into acting, but not, me. I'm very awkward, so being on stage, maybe not the best, although I'm okay on stage because I'm in character. It's off stage, and that's my point. Working at the dinner theater, I'm off stage, near the stage, not on it, and I'm extremely awkward. I'd be better on stage, but um, it's funny because I was talking to this acting coach. I don't know, my life's just taking me here. I wasn't going to go here. My life's been taking me here because of money and everything. So things are changing. And and he's like, "Well, I'll give you a free consultation," and that was really nice of him to do that. So, because otherwise, I didn't have the money, and I don't have the $300 to sign up for classes, so that has to wait. But he let me have a free consultation, and he said, "Yeah, anytime you can sign up for the acting class, and I'll waive the fee. No, I have to pay the fee to pay for the classes, but he waived the consultation fee." I have two people watching me. That's crazy. Okay, as I ramble on. Long story short, short story long, acting has been happening to me for whatever reason. I have been on stage my whole life, off and on. And it's funny, I've been listening to my music more lately and being like, oh my God, I remember writing that song. I haven't heard that song forever. I remember performing it on stage. I remember recording it. I remember all of this stuff, the good and bad. And like, what happened to that girl that did all that, that was on stage? What happened to the girl that was in musicals? And I've been in a place of hiding and complete terror because of things in my life. And finally, I think I'm finally starting to emerge out of it, and acting is calling to me, also music. Um, but anyway, I thought, well, I would really like to do Shakespeare. I would like to do just about anything. I would love to do. Hi, Fatima. Hello, love. It's good to see you here. I'm good. As you can see, I'm rambling as usual, like some online diary. But I decided to come on because I'm just doing this thing. And I know it's weird when psychics come on and they go, instead of doing psychic readings, which I will, anybody has a question, I will do a reading for you and I'll talk politics. But I know it's weird when psychics branch into other things. But the thing is, I am more, as you guys know, I'm much more of a creative artist than I am a psychic. I think intuition comes pretty natural to me, but I know that really, like when I pull cards and I say, "Oh, thank you, Fatima." Um, yeah, when I just get stuff. I get information, and I'm not always right, but I am when I pull cards for myself. The cards that fly out are, yeah, you're clairvoyant. You could do spiritual work, but it's always like books, creative expression, songwriting, speaking, things like that. And so, who am I? What am I? Who am I? What am I? Long story short, and Coco's on here, Miss Coco. I've been practicing Shakespeare because I would like to do that. And you have to do monologues. You have to start to get a portfolio together. So I thought it'd be fun, and just anybody who shows up would like to see, just watch me try to memorize this thing. I'm going to try to memorize. All's Well That Ends Well, Act 1, Scene 3. I already recorded this one time, but I want to memorize it and get it um, not perfected, but it's a challenge. So I thought I would come on here just for fun and do this thing. And I know it's not typical Tarot stuff, which will throw people off, but whatever. It's just me. It's just me. It's just what my life is doing right now. So, but I will talk politics. I can talk all that. Okay, so if you're ready, if you're here, I should. The problem with live is like the intro. I should just get rid of that whole intro. But okay, All's Well That Ends Well. Shakespeare. All's Well That Ends Well. Act 1, Scene 3. I've tried to memorize this. That's kind of why I'm here. I want to memorize this. I'll read through, and then I'm going to try to do it without looking at the script. This is the character Helena, and she says, and I have a British accent. Then I confess, here on my knee, before high heaven and you, that before you and next unto high heaven, I love your son. My friends were poor but honest, so's my love. Be not offended, for it hurts not him that he is loved of me. I follow him not by any token of presumptuous suit, nor would I have him till I do deserve him. Yet never know how that desert should be. I know I love in vain, strive against hope. Yet in this captious and untenable sieve I still pour in the waters of my love, and lack not to lose still. Thus, Indian-like, religious in mine error, I adore the sun that looks upon his worshipper, but knows of him no more. My dearest madam, let not your hate encounter with my love for loving where you do. But if yourself, whose aged honour cites a virtuous youth, did ever in so true a flame of liking wish chastely and love dearly, that your Dion was both herself and love, oh, then give pity to her whose state is such that cannot choose, but lend and give where she is sure to lose, that seeks not to find that her search implies, but riddle-like lives sweetly where she dies. I found this passage. It's in a whole list of Shakespeare passages for women, monologues. It's monologues for auditioning. I haven't been on any auditions. I mean, that's the thing. I'm trying to do this so I can do some auditions. But I got to get it memorized. So let's see. Let's try it again. I know the beginning. Let's see if I can remember the beginning here. Then I confess. Here, I looked. Do it again. Then I confess, here on my knee, that before high heaven and you, and next unto you and high heaven, I love your son. My friends were poor, but honest, so's my love. Be not offended, for he is be not offended, for it hurts not him that he is loved by me. I follow him not by any presumptuous suit, nor would I have him unless I do deserve him, nor would I have him till I do deserve him, yet never know how that desert should be. Hey, I didn't write this. Very nice. I always like Shakespeare. I do too. I love Shakespeare. That would be a dream of mine to do Shakespeare. I would really love that. And being tall and everything. I think that I think of actresses like Vanessa Redgrave, and I've always loved Lynn Redgrave because I've always loved the movie Georgie Girl. That's one of my favorite movies is Georgie Girl. I've watched it over and over and over again. And yeah, if they made a remake, well, I'm not young enough for that, so I can pretend. But no, Lynn Redgrave is one of my favorite actresses, and I would love to do that type of thing where I could. She did Shakespeare, and she did Camelot, Camelot. So I would love to do that. Okay, let me try this again. I've got to get character. So we have this woman who is kneeling in front of, I believe, the mother of the person she loves, and she's begging for this woman to give her mercy so they can be together. Then I confess, here on my knee, that unto you in high heaven, that before you and next unto high heaven, I love your son. My friends were poor but honest, so's my love. Be not offended, for it hurts not him that he is loved by me. I follow him not by any presumptuous suit, nor would I have him till I do deserve him. Okay. Nor would I have him till I do deserve him. Yet never know how that dessert should be. What does that mean, the dessert? Because they changed the word. No, okay. Nor would I have him till I do deserve him. Yet never know how that dessert. He changed the word to dessert, not deserve, but dessert, as in he's a dessert to her. I guess. I've been trying to figure that out all day. I know I love in vain. I know I love in vain, strive against hope, yet in this captious and tenable sieve I still pour in the waters of my love, and lack not to lose still, that's added on there, and lack not to lose still. Thus, Indian like, religious in mine error, thine error, mine error. I adore the sun that worships his, that looks upon his worshipper, but knows of him no more. Coco. Let not your hate encounter with my love, for loving will you do, but if yourself, whose aged honour cites a virtuous youth, did ever in so true a flame of liking wish chastely and love dearly, that your Dion was both herself and love, oh then give pity to her whose state is such that cannot choose, but lend and give where she is sure to lose, that seeks not to find that her search implies, but riddle like lives sweetly where she dies. Okay, I'll switch it up. I'll do a different one. But and by the way, I'm drinking ice water because it's so hot. But typically, ice water makes my voice get squeaky. It's a weird thing that happens to me. So I think all singers know that you're not supposed to drink ice water, but I'm doing it because in fact, it's not even ice water anymore. It melted. And this is the jelly jar glass. Does anyone remember growing up in my childhood, in my younger years? Let's go to Great Gatsby. Um, my mother would get jelly jars, jelly, and we'd eat it. Obviously, peanut butter jelly sandwiches, and then you'd have the glass. I always thought that was very clever, and I always liked the glasses. I always liked all the designs, and then there would be the glasses from Pizza Hut or McDonald's or Burger, which we didn't get much of that. Um, and I was very envious of kids who had like Pizza Hut glasses, like Star Wars glasses or Garfield. We actually had a few. I think we had Smurf glasses. I wish I could find those. Smurf glasses, and then Snoopy. We had Snoopy glasses. So this is a jelly or marmalade that I buy now, and it doesn't have any characters on it, but it has the cool little glasses. And I just think these are so perfect because they remind me of my childhood and my mother and growing up in that era. I'm glad that stuff like this is still around. It's funny because I'll see it and I'll go, I'm going to buy that jelly just because of the glass. And let's hope the jelly tastes good. Anyway, let's find another monologue. Let's see. Let's stretch it out a bit here. Let's do Cleopatra. Oh, you remember that? Yeah, the glasses are so cool. Especially when they have like if you go to antique stores or thrift stores, like Savers or whatever, you'll still find them. My problem is like, what have those glasses been through? Like nuclear waste. I'm always a little hesitant. But anyway. All right, let's do Cleopatra, a monologue of Cleopatra. Antony and Cleopatra, Act 4, Scene 15. Here we go. And I know sometimes I have you know what? Sometimes I always loved Gilda Radner and all the comics, comedians from Saturday Night Live. Carol Burnett. I grew up on Carol Burnett. I love Carol Burnett. Sometimes I get that goofy look on my face, and I'm like, whatever. It's like Carol Burnett coming out. But Carol Burnett was also a serious actress. Is. I actually would love to play Mrs. Hannigan from Annie. I've always thought, when I was little, I wanted to be Annie. We all wanted to sing tomorrow, tomorrow. I could sing that part. I'll love you tomorrow. But really, the star of the show is Mrs. Hannigan, or Ms. Hannigan. And that was Carol Burnett in the movie. I really, really love her. So I would do that. Long story short, she could be a serious actress. She could be obviously funny. She's very funny. Lucille Ball, too, could do that. All right, Cleopatra. Back then, when your mom was using to buy laundry soap, it used to come with towels sometimes. Oh, nice. And cups, other time cutlery. My mother, okay, listen to this. I remember at the grocery store growing up, they had, and they still do this every once in a while, you'll see this. They would have an end cap, is what it's called. Because I worked at Walmart and they call them end caps on the end of an aisle. And they would have the plates. And at the grocery store, it would say, and this week's special is if you buy a package of ground beef, you'll get the gravy boat. And so my mother started to collect dishes from the grocery store, like Corningware, I believe is what it was, or yeah, something. And it had that beautiful sort of um, periwinkle flower, that purpley blue print, indigo. And I don't think she ever got the full set, but there's actually one of my favorite stories is by, is it Gene Smart, who wrote A Christmas Story. And he wrote about how his mother and all the women in town in Minnesota, I think it was Minnesota, could have been Michigan, um, were promised. And it was during the Depression. So, there was Fiesta Wear, was one of the popular, and nobody had a match set of anything during the Depression. So all these women wanted to get a matched dinnerware set. And so each week they went in and they would get their piece of the dinnerware set. And then on the final week, all the women were in like a rabid, foaming at the mouth fervor to get the gravy boat. And so they went to the store and they said, "We're sorry, we don't have the gravy boat. We did not get enough ship. We only got 3 or something." So the women were like insane with anger. And they went to the local movie theater that night and had a coup at the movie theater and demanded their gravy boat. And the grocery store had to like come up with it, and some weird like thing that happened with that. That's one of my favorite stories. Back then, they used to put things inside the laundry soaps. Oh, nice. Well, that's like, do you remember how Cracker Jacks would have the little prize inside, even if it was a stick, like a decal? What do they call it? Yeah, it's like a decal tattoo, or the little plastic jumping jack or something. Cracker Jack cereal would all, they would have toys inside. In fact, I remember I would always get up first after my mother had gone to the grocery store, so I could look inside the cereal box to see what the prize was. And if I didn't want it, I would leave it in there, and my brother would come down and go, "Hey, who rummaged through the cereal?" Because you'd have to literally put your hand inside the cereal to get to get the prize. Oh man, those are the days, right? Now they make you go online. It's like you sign up for our website and you might get a prize. Now companies are cheap, yeah, and greedy. They don't give nothing anymore. I agree. It's really annoying. They they do the thing where you have to sign up online and maybe you'll get a prize. Probably not. They'll probably give you like a 15% discount, which doesn't mean anything these days. Oh, also, and Fatima, you probably remember this. Like my mother would do couponing, which I wish I need to learn how to do couponing. It takes a lot of time. I think she would do it at work, so she was all set. She ran the local library in our small town, and I think she would sit at the desk and cut coupons. I honestly think that's what she did. Okay, and so Wednesday at our locals, we had Dillon's, which is Kroger, was double coupon day. So after work on Wednesday nights, it was usually Wednesday nights, I would go with my mother to the grocery store and she'd hand me a coupon and she'd say, "Amy, go find Ritz crackers." But the funny thing with coupons, yeah, you all clipped coupons. The funny thing about coupons was it was never regular Ritz crackers. It was like the new brand um, that had sesame seeds in it or something like that. Or you had to get two for you know what I mean? Um, there was always a catch. So, but the fun thing about it was, I remember very specifically one time, um, my mother was going through those low freezer sections that you could look into. They were open right there at the waist, and pushing the cart along. And my mother had a coupon for chocolate ice cream bonbons, a chocolate on the outside with the vanilla ice cream on the inside. And she had the coupon, and I was like, "Oh my God, this is so fancy. We're getting chocolate bonbon ice cream." And somehow, like this little tub, like this big, we were all able to share like maybe 2 or 3 chocolate ice cream bonbons for each other. We never got to have like the donuts or maybe powdered donuts, maybe. But yeah, so anyway, she would have this pile of coupons, double coupon day, Wednesday night, and then she'd go to the register, put it all on, and the cashier ring up the each coupon one by one, and then you'd see the total like go down. And my mother must have had like a sick satisfaction over this, watching the money go down. So yeah, we probably need to all do that. We all need to clip coupons again. That's yeah, it would be a good idea. Probably would have helped me this last year. But the problem is, it's always the thing. Like, I don't use that product. I don't eat that food. I don't need a 3 pound bag of Doritos or what. So, all right, sip of water. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's read another one. Oh yeah, we're gonna read Cleopatra. And if you do have a question, go ahead and put it in. I will answer anything like personal or political. I'll stop and I can pretty well multitask. All right, Cleopatra. Now Cleopatra would not have a British accent. Elizabeth Taylor played her. Elizabeth Taylor grew up as she was a child actress from England, even though she was mostly sort of Americanized. She had that intercont. What do they call it? Intercontinental accent or North. There's a name for it, like Catherine Hepburn. I can go into my Catherine Hepburn. Catherine Hepburn had that accent. Oh, well, come here and tell me what's going to happen. Um, and also Greta Garbo. Well, Greta Garbo she was German, so she kind of had. Let me go channel her. Let me channel her. Oh no, well she had that very deep voice. Okay, Greta Garbo. I'm going to try to bring her in. Greta Garbo. I want to be alone. Bring it to me. I can't do her. I love Greta. I idolize Greta Garbo. I always have. But I can't do her the way that I would want to. So I want to be alone. That's probably the closest I can get. Now my Catherine Hepburn's pretty good. I can do Catherine Hepburn all day long and annoy everyone in the area. Who else can I do? I could probably do Judy Garland, but I'm choosing not to at this moment because I think I will mess it up. I take requests. Okay, so Cleopatra would not have a British accent, most likely. So let's just do it. I'll do it because you know how when you watch old like MGM movies, it didn't matter. Everyone had a British accent anyway. So I'll just do it. And Shakespeare, they would have had a British accent on stage. So we'll just do that. And that's how he wrote it in the old style. Um, no more, but even a woman and no, calm it down. No more, but even a woman and commanded by such poor passion as a maid that milks and does the meanest chares. It were for me to throw my sceptre at the injurious gods, to tell them that this world did equal theirs, till they had stolen our jewel. All's but not. Patience is sottish, and impatience does become a dog that's mad. Then it is sin to rush into that secret house of death, ere death dare come to us. How do you, women? What? What good cheer? Why, how now, Charmaine? Carmaine is probably Carmaine. My noble girls. Ah, women, women. Look, our lamp is spent. It's out. Good sirs, take heart. We'll bury him. Good sirs, take heart. We'll bury him. And then what's brave, what's noble? Let's do it after the high Roman fashion and make death proud to take us. Come away. Come away. This case of that huge spirit now is cold. Ah, women, women, come, we have no friend but resolution and the briefest end. I noticed that all these passages by Shakespeare always reference death. Always. All right, well, let's do another one. That was okay. We can do Hamlet. That's pretty. See, these are all women. None of them are men, which is fine. Okay, no. You know that back then the men would play the women. That's so interesting. Hmm. The Merchant of Venice. You know, one of my favorite. I talked about Georgie Girl. One of my favorite actors was. Well, I love Vanessa Redgrave, who played in Georgie Girl. Okay, but I loved Alan Bates, and he played Geordie and her friend's love interest. He's the main male character in the movie. And of course, then you have Charles Boy. No, not Charles Boyer. Who's the guy? He's kind of like Mark Dawsey. He has that accent. The British guy, and he played the bad guy in the movie with Ingrid Bergman and Cary Grant. Oh gosh, what's his name? Anyway, I love Alan Bates. That was my whole point. I love Alan Bates. And I would play him. I would play male characters. I have no problem with that. I would totally do it. Much Ado About Nothing. Othello. But I was looking for, is it Romeo and Juliet? Okay, we'll do the okay. Hopefully this is not copyright. I mean, how could it be copyright? We're talking about 100 years ago, hundreds of years ago. But we're going to do the famous scene of Juliet. Here we go. Oh, Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou, Romeo? Deny thy father and refuse thy name, or if thou wilt not, but be sworn my love, and I'll no longer be a Capulet. 'Tis but thy name that is my enemy. Thou art thyself, though not a Montague. What's Montague? It is not hand, nor foot, nor arm, nor face, nor any other part belonging to a man. Or be some other name. What's in a name? That which we call a rose by any other name would smell as sweet. So Romeo would, were he not Romeo called, retain that dear perfection which he owes without that title. Romeo doff thy name, and for that name, which is no part of thee, take all myself. Of course, that would be, she would only be like 13 or 14. So I kind of, let's do it again and let's try to channel more of the child, not, you know, an adult woman. She was a child. I am acting. I was thinking those actors who stayed in character, like Dustin Hoffman, who would stay in character, like for Tootsie. I guess when he accepted his Oscar or whatever for Tootsie, he was still like, "Oh, thank you for that." Do you remember Tootsie? Do you remember he played the woman? I so want to do that scene now. If I can find the scene, I'm going to try to do it. I will not. What does he say? Okay, I'm going to find that scene, but first let's do this. Okay. Uh, she's a girl. She's in love. O Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou, Romeo? Deny thy father and refuse thy name. Or if thou wilt not, but be sworn my love, and I'll no longer be a Capulet. 'Tis but thy name that is my enemy. Thou art thyself, though not a Montague. What's Montague? It is not hand, nor foot, nor arm, nor face, or any other part belonging to a man. Or be some other name. What's in a name? That which we call a rose by any other name would smell as sweet. So Romeo would, were he not Romeo called, retain that dear perfection which he owes without that title. Romeo, doff thy name, and for that name which is no part of thee, take all myself. Okay. She loves him so much. Oh my god. One of my favorite scenes is in Saturday Night Fever when Tony, right? It's Tony. And I can't remember her name. It's the main female that he falls in love with, and the go out children. She's like, okay, I'll have coffee. Coffee. We'll have coffee. Coffee. We'll do coffee. And so they go to like a cafe on the side, and what is it like? They live in Brooklyn, and he orders a big old hamburger and a coffee, and she has iced tea. That's right. And they start talking about she's trying to get him. She's trying to fish out of him if he's smart, because she just moved to Manhattan and she's all up with all the fancy Manhattan people, and she has like an education and she works in a camera shop or whatever, where Laurence Olivier came in, and she's like, I bet you don't even know who Laurence Olivier is, do you, Tony? Like, sure I do. He's a the guy that sells cameras. And I can't remember, he said something snarky. So they're talking about Shakespeare. And he goes, oh, yeah, Romeo and Juliet. Um, I just thought that he took the poison too fast. What? They took the poison too fast. I thought they should have waited a little. Okay, that's one of my favorite lines out of any movie. Of course, we have from Midnight Cowboy, right? Where they're like, hey, I'm walking here. That was unscripted. They were literally filming a scene walking through New York, and a car wasn't supposed to drive in front of them as they were filming, and it did. So New Yorker Dustin Hoffman hits the car. Hey, I'm walking here. I'm walking here. F you. And then the car drives off, and then he goes back into characters. Ratso, one of my favorite characters. He goes, actually, that ain't a bad way to. No, wait, I gotta do it. Actually, that ain't a bad way to get insurance. That was terrible. That was honestly terrible. Um, Actually, that ain't a bad way to get insurance. Okay, let's find the scene. The scene from Tootsie. Where the funny thing about Tootsie is script. The funny thing about Tootsie is he was an actor playing a woman who was being an actor playing a guy that was a woman. Well, anyway, let's find it. Let's find it. This may take a while. Sandy's apartment, Michael. This is good. I get to look at this screenplay. Dorothy. I'm an actress, Mr. Carlyle. A character actress. Honey, there just ain't time to work on character on a soap. It's unfortunate, but you either have to have the right quality or you don't. You want a threat? How's this? Take your hand off my arm, or I'll knee your balls through the roof of your mouth. Is that enough of a threat? That's a start. I'll tell you what you really want. You want a caricature woman to prove to you some idiotic point, like power makes women masculine or masculine women are ugly. Well, shame on the woman who let you do it, on any woman who let you do it. And that means you, dear. Okay, let's see. I really want to find that scene though. Okay. That's right. I think this is a scene. Yeah, Tootsie. I love Tootsie. And I love Dustin Hoffman, and I love Terry. I know the name. She reminds me of Lisa Kudrow from Friends. Terry, whatever. She has blonde hair. Okay, and this is a scene. Isn't it when he kissed her, and then she was supposed to do the scene, but then she went off script? You're wrong, Dr. Brewster. I'm very proud of being a woman, but I'm also proud of this hospital, and before I let it be destroyed by your callous inhumanity, before I let you turn these patients into numbers, before I let you turn the dying into the dead, I will recommend to the board that you be turned out into the street. Good day, Mr. Brewster. I said good day. Now, that was Terry Hatcher. No, it's not Terry Hatcher, but you're close. I don't think it's Terry Hatcher. It's she had blonde hair. She was in the movie God with John Denver. It's Terry somebody. But you're close. I did think of the name Terry Hatcher. She was the one that was in Desperate Housewives. And she was in Superman. But we'll think of it. It's one of those names where you'll think of later. Okay, so I think that was the scene. But what I love about the scene is, he had that soft sort of Southern accent, and he would try to make it more feminine. The scene was where the woman had been beaten up. I've got cat hair on because Coco's right here and I'm itchy. In the scene, the woman in the soap opera was in the hospital. She had been beaten up by her boyfriend, and then they were supposed to be a nurse. She's supposed to play the nurse. Now I want to watch the movie. She's supposed to play the nurse who just kind of lets it go, but no, she stops and she has this whole diatribe of feminism. Let's see. Well, anyway, I'll be done with this in a minute. I'm just kind of having fun with this today, and I'll talk about politics, which, you know what? When you talk about politics, it's fun, but it also, All the energy goes way down. And it's getting dark outside. You're wrong, Dr. Brewster. I'm very proud of being a woman. But I'm also proud of this hospital, and before I let it be destroyed by your callous inhumanity, before I let you turn these patients into numbers, before I let you turn the dying into the dead, I will recommend to the board that you be turned out into the street. Good day, Mr. Brewster. I said good day. Didn't he try to like stop her? And she's like, I said good day. And there's the scene where he tries to kiss her. He keeps trying to kiss her. Okay, see if I can find it. Now, would I ever go on? If I ever did anything where I acted on film, I couldn't watch unless I was in like full makeup. I couldn't watch the what do they call it? The clips at the end of the day. I'm one of those people I wouldn't be able to do it. All right. Well, anyway, we can talk politics. A silence, awkward silence. I'm still reading this. Okay, I better stop because I'm not finding the other scene I want. Okay, well, anyway, let's see here. All right. Let's look it up. Tootsie. Let's look up the cast of Tootsie. This is me every day of my life. I watch a movie and then I look up the IMDb and see who the cast is. Cast. It is Terry Garr. It's Terry Garr. There we go. It's Terry Garr. And Gina Davis, Jessica Lange. All right. So I watched a movie last night and it was Kate Winslet. It was called The Reader, and it was a story about I mean, she's probably in her 30s or 40s, a woman, and I believe Germany, or had she escaped Germany? Anyway, she falls in love with, well, the young man falls in love with her. He's a young German man who falls in love with her, and they do have an affair. So it's kind of awkward. Like, it took me forever to watch that movie because I just feel that's so awkward. But it actually turned out to be a beautiful movie. I thought that she did a great job. The young actor, who probably was like in his mid 20s, but he played a 16-year-old boy. He did a great job. But then they had him played as an adult as Ralph Fiennes, and I don't know why, but I did not like Ralph Fiennes' performance. I don't get the whole Ralph Fiennes thing. I don't get it. But I liked Kate Winslet, and I liked the whole idea of the story that she could not read, and it was more than the sex. It was about the fact that this tender act where he would read to this illiterate woman. And come to find out, as he grows up and he goes to college, and they're starting to prosecute Nazi sympathizers. So apparently, before she met him, she had worked as a guard in Auschwitz, and and she's on trial, and he's in his like philosophy or whatever class he's in, and he has to watch this trial, and there she is. And when it comes down to the pivotal moment of the story of the trial of her guilt, was that did she write this report of orders to brutalize the prisoners in Auschwitz? And here he is. He's a young man in college. He's moved on from her, but he still loves her. And he has to decide if he wants to tell the world that he had an affair with her at 16 with a woman who couldn't read, and he wants to tell everyone she can't read. She couldn't have written that report. I read to her. And and then there's these, why am I telling you all this? There's all these, yes, Terry Garr. There's all these accounts that say, actually, she was very nice, and she would take the young prisoners in and comfort them and ask them to read to her. So it's kind of a beautiful, like, I like those elements of that beautiful, how they brought it all together, this tenderness of how they really did love each other, but it was just the wrong era for both of them. And then all of this thing with the whole Germany. But I didn't like Ralph Fiennes. I didn't like the way the movie ended. I thought it was just a strange thing, the movie. That's where you can have a movie that it's so well meaning and well acted, but then it gets ruined by the ending, trying to, what I would say, overproduce the ending and having actors like Ralph Fiennes when really they could have just put aging on the young actor and kept him in the movie. I think that would have been much better. So I don't know. Moving on. Okay, let's talk. We'll bring down the energy here and we'll talk some politics before I get off. Um, let's just have a recap of politics. Cat hair. I always have cat hair on me. It's dangerous. If you ever put on lip gloss and then you hug a cat, that's the problem. And by the way, this is the culprit. This is who put, yes, she put kitty cat hair on my cat lip. So, okay, politics, if I can get my brain around it. Okay, so we had today this whole thing about 45. Will he do the debate? And, I psychically asked John McCain, and he said no. He instantly said no. It does seem to be building up to the point where 45 is going to bow out of the debate. It just feels like he's chicken. And these rules that she made were, how we thought we wanted his mic to be turned off, but then we realized maybe that's not such a good thing. What she wants freedom of the press. Remember, he was like, freedom of the press, freedom of speech. I mean, freedom of speech. She's like, yeah, freedom of speech. Turn on the mics. And then he's like, oh, if she says it must be bad. What does she have up her sleeve? Well, she just wants the world to see what a fool he is, for entertainment purposes only. And I do believe she's kind of playing a mind game with his. And I think he's going to bow out. Yeah, I think so too. He wanted the Fox News. Now, why would he want Fox News, right? Why would that be the be all end all? Well, because he can have his bully gang around, to like Jerry Springer and be like, boo, when she gets up and talks, and maybe control the mics. Because I still feel like they did something to the mics and the camera, AI, what doesn't matter. They did something, when Biden, because it was like split screen, 45, good lighting, the good whatever color of the filter, um, good mic, good sound, and then with Biden, it was like, holy shit, is he a ghost? Like, what's going on here? You can't hear him, you can't see him. Um, I still think there's AI, but anyway, and I still believe in evil eye. I believe there's a lot of evil eye on Biden, and he was sick and all that stuff. And I still actually wonder if Biden, did bad on purpose to suss out 45, but that's just a little theory of mine. I don't believe in that one as much as I do believe that they messed with the mics and the camera. So here's the thing, 45 knows that. And he's like, isn't it always the person who, has thought of doing something bad that accuses other people of doing that exact thing? The reason why he's afraid is because he knows it's possible. He knows that she could, um, tell the network, hey, I know what. Keep all the mics on, and every time he talks, make him sound like he's weak, make him sound delayed, make him sound, whatever, like Sylvester, um, like he did on the Elon Musk interview. He's afraid because he knows that he did it to Biden. um, because otherwise, why would 45 be afraid of debating a woman? He debated Hillary. Well, I think there's many reasons. I think he doesn't like being told what to do, and I think he's going to have a stroke. Oh gosh. A lot of psychics, and of course, we don't wish that. And it's an easy out. I don't think that it's, we don't want him to be a martyr, before the election, but he may have already had many strokes, to be honest. But a lot of psychics have said that in September they see some sort of health event with 45. So here's something I want to talk about. I'm glad you said that, Fatima, because this leads me to this. When it was really dumb, I know that Trump thought it was a good idea to bring in RFK Jr. because it would bring the voters to 45. Yeah, we don't. And I know that, you don't wish him harm, and I always have to say that because, powers that be on the internet might strike my channel. But until I know that you didn't mean that. Believe me, as frustrated as we all are, we've all had, you know, thoughts that, yeah, he's doing enough harm to himself. I agree. And to others, to others. I mean, karma's, but yeah, it's more like the powers that be on the internet that I don't want to anger. Because yeah, I know that you don't wish anyone harm, but we can't help what we think. And sometimes out of frustration, we'll think something like, you know, maybe tomorrow will we, like somebody will say, let's say somebody will say just random post online and they'll say, is he gone yet? And everybody knows who they're talking about. Like we know they're talking about 45 and what they mean. Okay. So 45 on Friday brought in RFK Jr. Now, he thought that this would bring a lot of power back to his campaign. He thought that he would bring in all these undecided or independent voters to his campaign. Bring in RFK Jr. and it's like a fortress of power to beat Kamala. But what he doesn't realize is that what he just did was a huge chess move of I just put all my pawns together. I just put all my knights together. And now I'm exposed. And I'll tell you how he did that. Because now, well, it's the trio of weird. It's the trio of creeps. Um, it's a bad look. It looks weak. It actually doesn't make him look stronger. It makes him look weak. Um, the people who might have voted for RFK Jr. didn't want to vote for 45. So now they're actually going to go to Kamala. And the last thing is that it now gives the strength to JD Vance and RFK Jr. to have their own ticket should 45 be incarcerated or become sick. So yeah. So the problem with the Kennedy guy is that has the he had a worm in his head. His own Kennedy family, the classic, he's the son of Robert Kennedy who was killed, John F. Kennedy's brother. So he's done tons of cocaine. I've heard different accounts from people online where they knew him in like the 1980s or 90s and they did cocaine with him, okay, for entertainment purposes only. So he's a huge coke head. So he's got some, and so is 45, I believe. That's part of the draw. They're together for that. Energy matches energy. He's weird. And, his speaking is not the greatest. He has a weird speaking pattern, but it's this weird stuff that he does. He believes in weird theories that okay, people can believe on. I believe in some weird stuff, so I'm not going to judge anyone. But just on a basic level, the guy is kind of weird. He has kind of crazy out there theories, like non-standard theories. And he found just today they said, he cut the head off of a shark or something, and then he found a bear in Central Park and drove around with it. And then he had a dead dog carcass, and he had the brain worm thing. And I mean, how much more? How much more do we need? Okay, so apparently he also flew around on Epstein's plane. So now 45 and RFK Jr. are both flying around once again on RFK Jr. on Epstein's plane. It's just creepy and weird. And do I have anything against the guy? No, I don't even know the guy, but he's weird. He's not like, look at Kamala. Kamala is a woman. The only thing she would have against her in anyone's eyes is that, what, she's a woman? I think that's a strength. I think it's beautiful. She doesn't have any weird, what she's working for is Americans and the economy. And you know this. I know you know this. But he just doesn't, I don't think he stands on anything. There's like nothing that he would say that would actually help America. It's all about his weird theories of, I don't know. I'm pretty well uninformed of the guy because I was never going to vote for him in the first place. But I do know that his family has sort of, the Kennedys have literally rejected him and said, yeah, we're not supporting his campaign. He's really out there, and I would not be good in the debate. But again, my point of now with RFK Jr. and JD Vance together, it gives the duo And should something happen to 45, they could take over as a ticket without him. I don't think that he realized that he did that to himself. It was a bad chess move. Hello, Amy. How are you? I am good. Hello. How are you doing? I've got, by the way, I don't wear, as you could tell, I don't have my glasses on, and I've got contacts in, and now they're starting to make my eyes feel crappy. So I'm doing this a lot, and my eyes are starting to get kind of glazed over. So that's why I'm kind of being like blurry eyed and weird. So I probably won't be on here much longer. Um, but hello, I'm doing good. How are you doing, Odila? Is it Odila? See, I can't see. Odila. That's a pretty name. I like it. It's hot here. I'll tell you how I am. It's hot. It was 99 degrees at the highest today with a heat index of 108. Now, we were lucky last week because it was a lot cooler. The trees are starting to change colors already. And then this heat wave came in. Now, I believe that Canada has had the heat, England has had the heat. So it just came back here too. We're finally in it like everybody else. I put ice out for the animals, for the squirrels and the birds. I put some bread out there. I turned the hose on a little bit. But there's really not much you can do. I'm just lucky that I have shade. Oh, here's something. How am I? So I talked to someone last week, and I've had this problem with, money, finances, like so many people right now. And I was like, okay, I didn't have enough money to make my full mortgage here the last couple months. But I had $2,000. I made sure that I had $2,000 and didn't spend it. And I had someone say, well, they'll let you pay that. Even if it's not the full amount, they'll let you pay it. So I called and they let me pay it, and I'm in good standing now. So that's where I am. But now I may lose my electricity. So yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to deal with that. So I'm good with my mortgage, but I don't know. So I'll have to deal. It's what I found out in this last year is that who you can get by with and this is terrible. I don't like to be like this, but my mother always said, pay the mortgage before you pay anything else. Make sure you pay the house payment before anything else. So you can kind of push off the car payment if you have to. You can push off the gas bill if you have to, or the trash bill or water, whatever. But then when they want it, you can't get by with it anymore. So like with electricity and air conditioning in the summer, the rates have been really high. And so, yeah, I'm worried that my power could be turned off in a couple of days. But hey, I've got a house, so that's good. Your hair looks good. Like red, and don't mess with Amy. Yeah, that's true. Don't mess with Amy. Thank you. um, I think I've showed this picture before. Yeah, I'll be younger. This is me and my first album. So it's kind of like Loretta Lynn. I don't know if you've seen the movie Coal Miner's Daughter. Yes, that's right. I knew that. I knew the name Medeiros. I love when you guys all show up together, and thank you for being here. I love that you're all together here. I love that. Well, this is when my first album came out, and like Loretta Lynn, we shot this picture in the house with just lighting. I think it was in our recording studio, and my guitar, which I no longer have because it broke, and I think I still have that dress, by the way. And what I know is I looked at this picture today and I was like, oh, look at little baby Amy. Look at me. I've had depression my whole life, and things in my childhood, things in my adulthood. And what struck out to me today was this shadow. And I was like, I've never thought about that before, but look at that shadow. That was me. Here's the picture of Amy being like, look at me with my guitar, and I'm promoting my album, my first album. But this shadow was really on me all the time. And I've dealt with this shadow my whole life. And I have fought this shadow, and you learn from your shadow. You don't appreciate the light without the darkness, right? You learn from the darkness. You strengthen the light with darkness. But that shadow almost has overtaken me many times in my life. And I just feel like this picture is so prophetic and profound because it's me, but then also me back there. But anyway, yeah, I still have that dress. And also, I remember my mascara was Estee Lauder. I can't remember the name. That was my favorite mascara. They probably still have it. And also the lipstick. I love that lipstick because was it Rimmel? It wasn't CoverGirl. It might have been L'Oreal. It might have been, but it might have been Rimmel. I love Rimmel. But look at her. Look at baby Amy. Yeah, thank you. But yeah, I've been listening lately to my first album. I sometime, you know what I might do if I have time tomorrow, because I worked all weekend, and then I kind of have to work double Wednesday and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Tomorrow I have off. So if I have time tomorrow, if maybe I'll do something where I do a live where I listen to my album. It's mine, my copyright. It'd be funny if I got a copyright strike, you know. But that's right. John played. Yeah, that's so cool. That's right. He's been on here before. I love that. Musicians unite, and I can't talk. Musicians unite. Um, I need to get a new guitar. I really need a guitar. Um, but do a listening thing where I listen to my first album and talk about the tracks and what, how it was to write it. And, listening back, and it was me and my ex. We did all of it ourselves. Every single track you hear on the album, every guitar take, every vocal, uh, everything was just us. Nobody helped us. And he mixed the whole thing. And of course, I had to have all the input. I want this sound. I want this drum. I want this guitar. I want this. And I wrote the songs. I sang the songs. But listening to it, and I live in Kansas City, and I did not get like a big, wow, Amy Saya. Um, I kind of was ignored. And I hate that because listening to it now, I'm like, why wasn't this on the radio? They're actually really good songs. So, and I wouldn't, me, I don't just like say stuff like that. So, anyway, I might do a listening party where I actually listen to my album live here and talk about what it was like to write those songs and why I wrote certain songs and the recording process. So, that might be fun. It'd be fun. One day I do Shakespeare, the next day I do music. It's all good. So how is everybody doing? So does your brother, Fatima, does your brother play around town? Or I know he said that he puts songs. Does he put songs on iTunes or YouTube? Or I know you guys all live together, right? Don't you share a house together? You sure? Why not? Yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be good. It's good to do some more things than just tarot and all that. The energy's changing. At some point, we're not going to have to talk about 45 anymore. I thought we'd already be at that point, but we're getting there, and we are going to have to detox from 45. He was in a band a long time ago. Yep, me too. uh, I would love to have another band. I should do that. I would love to sing again. I never really felt like I got my full because of my shadow. Because of my shadow held me back all this time. I never really had my full experience. So yeah, you all live together. That's so cool. I love that. I'm sure it's bad sometimes, but most of the time I bet it's wonderful because family is the best. I love that. But he put some of his music on YouTube. Good. He could do, if he has CDs, tell him this. He may already know this. If you record an album, you can put it on CD Baby, and then that puts it on automatically. It should put it on iTunes, Spotify, maybe Pandora. I don't know. And I think they also put it on YouTube as well. So tell him that. Tell him to look into CD Baby. And now he may have to pay a little fee, but it's not hard these days to make your own album artwork. All you have to do is get a picture and use like Canva or Photoshop, Adobe. I've always had to do all that. I've made my own book covers. I've made, maybe that's what I should do for a living. I could do people's book covers and album covers. I mean, seriously, I could do that. But yeah, tell him CD baby, CD baby, so he can get his music on iTunes. You should do that. But yeah. So what else? Politics today. Okay. Kamala is going to. She'll be at the debate. Here's what I think. He'll bow out at the debate. I'm pretty darn sure, like you guys said. I feel like he's going to because he's thinking of all the reasons. He's scared. He's scared that she's going. See, here's the thing. he he doesn't want to look like a chicken, but he knows that people will forget that. But what people will remember is if he has a bad debate. And he'd rather not go through that. He knows it, and especially so close to the election. So he'd rather look like a chicken and bow out of it and go, oh, well, I didn't want to debate her because he's already convinced his base that she's evil and she's stupid. And, why should I waste my time on her? He knows that it would be worse if he looked bad in the debate. So he's going to bow out. She'll go, she'll have her own live, like roundtable, take questions, all that. However, she may accept the Fox News debate to show that she ain't afraid because I really think that she wants that image of them together, split screen, debating him. She knows exactly what her answers are, how she's going to counter answer everything. So I think she's going to do the Fox debate and sort of challenge him and go, okay, well, you wouldn't do this one on what is it, NBC or ABC or whatever it is, CNN. Well, I'll do the Fox debate. I'll do that. And he's gonna be sweating. He's gonna be like so scared. So that's one of my predictions is yes, like you guys have all said, we all agree he's gonna bow out of the debate with her on regular, what is it, CNN or ABC or whatever. But she will agree to do the Fox News debate with him. That's what I think. She will win the election. Um, and it'll be such a big win that it will be really hard for him to contest it. However, he will. And he'll cry like a 3-year-old in a grocery store that doesn't get their toy. He's going to cry and scream. But really, it's not going to work. It's just going to be like last time. It's not going to work. And I actually think it's going to be really diffused. People are going to be like, oh God, not again. And the effect that he wanted, that he thought was going to work last time, is just like, why bother? Why bother contesting the courts and counting all the, recounts and all that? So it was the guy he talks to Linda G, and he does that, CLSB. He's the son of, who's the lady who talks to Scott Allen on Sundays? I love their show on Sundays. I can't remember her name. She has purple hair. It's her son. And he does these political polling. He does the polling. He said that if the polling shows that if Kamala wins Georgia, it's over. No president who has won Georgia has ever lost an election. So Nancy Jean, that's right, Nancy Jean. I love Nancy Jean. Okay, so I take Karen for a walk every Sunday. We usually go to the lake, even if it's freezing cold. We'll go to the lake, and it's right around the time when they come on. Nancy Jean and Scott Allen. And I always think, my God, that woman is so intelligent. No wonder she has such a smart son, honestly, because she herself is incredibly smart. So, yeah, I love that. I would love to talk with her if she ever would contact me. It's really hard. I've had my run-ins with other readers. I had one that we planned. I wasn't ever going to talk about this, but we planned. Yeah, she's very smart and she's funny. She's so funny, and she knows all about politics and polling and everything. He will poop his pants. Yeah. Oh, yeah. This is my joke today. I was going to do this on TikTok, but this is how the debate would go if Kamala and him debated. She's like, you, sir, are a scoundrel and a thief. And he would say, poopy, poopy, poopy. Because that's all he has is poopy, poopy, poopy. He's just poopy mouth, poopy brained. He doesn't have any actual points. It's hard to believe that anyone ever voted for the guy who followed Hillary Clinton around on stage like a big orangutan, a big caveman. I remember seeing that and being like, God, can't they just pull him away from her? It's so annoying that he's like following her everywhere. That's all he had was his masculinity and whatever he has. The thing is, he's a rapist. He's a child rapist for entertainment purposes only. We, I said it myself. Why is this guy even running for president? How is this happening? He's just awful. He's horrible. It's when people say things like, "Well, I know that people don't like him, but he has some good points." I'm like, tell me his good points, because all I see is this child rapist, honestly, and this horrible, disgusting guy. I don't see any good points in 45. None. None. I see no good points in him. I'm so ready for us to be done with 45. Um, I find humor, like he'll say things that I actually laugh about because it's just so ridiculous. Hamburger, Kofefi, some of the ways that he walks, his stupid dance. And they all love that. Oh, he's dancing. The manga people are like, what is this? What is this dance? He's afraid of strong women. That's true. He really is. And before the 2016 election, this is really early on with me reading tarot. I'd probably only been reading for like 7 months or so. I was like, you know what? Obama's on his way out. His second term is almost over, and 45 was running. And I was like, let's do a tarot comparison of these two men. So I did a spread on Obama, and it showed the Temperance card, which is like balance and spiritual, like angelic realms being around you and guidance from the angelic realm, clear thinking, and then the Empress, and then all these cards of like the star and heaven and morals and feminine. And I was like, this guy really has good morals, and he loves his mother who had passed. He has a respect for women, and he's going to treat women in this country with respect and help women in this country, mothers. And then I pulled 45's spread, and it was like the devil and the King of Rods in reverse, which is like all about the ego and sex and drugs and all the stuff. And then it showed like the Empress in reverse and the King of Swords in reverse. I'm like, damn, he's not. We do not want him around us. The direct opposite of Obama is what 45 is. So the cards said it. It was very clear to me. I was like, wow, you can't get much clearer on this one. So yeah, he's afraid of strong women. Melania, they've said today that who was it, her friend said that they had an agreement. The Queen said, yeah, they have an agreement. So yeah. Melania. I thought she'd be out of there by now, honestly. But here's something else I noticed with the debate, and my nose is still itching. I'm so sorry. I keep doing this because I have cat hair on my nose. When she did her speech last week in the DNC, and he live tweeted everything, and so he had all these all caps. Is she talking about me? And then his anger about this policy that she brought up, and this economy, and this. He gave her a list of all talking points for the debate. It was really dumb of him to do that. Now she has everything that he's going to bring up and argue about. She's going to be able to have ready. So, he says, why did they give the Democrats a list of questions? He just gave her a list of questions for the debate, which he's not going to go to anyway. So what he'll do is when she goes to the debate and talks, he'll live tweet or what. Oh, here's something that's interesting. Multiple reports today showed that Russia did, in fact, fund the buyout of Twitter for Elon Musk, which I knew. I called that one. I was like, this is what's happening. And I remember said, the White House should not have their account on Twitter. But it's very painful to know these things and try to warn people, and then but it's just you're like a voice in the wind. You just have to wait for other people to. But it's almost like everybody knows, though. That's the thing. I think everybody knows, but they just don't want to believe it. So I think that X should be shut down because it's linked to Russia, and that explains so much. And he bought it right after Putin invaded Ukraine. So That makes sense right now. That's a connection. So anyway, any questions before I go? Because I'm like really blurry eyed and I need to take out my contacts and I'll answer any questions. I've got some cards, but also I can just any political questions I can answer. And I still have Coco. Yes, I do. I have Coco, and she doesn't want me to hold her. Okay. By the way, I'm in this chair because the other chair is occupied by a cat. So I put this chair in here, and then Coco was in this chair. So every chair has been occupied by a cat until right now. So, haha. I win. I win for now until later. And then I'll lose my seat again. Right, Coco? Coco. Say hi to the camera, Coco. All right, yeah, I'm about ready to go. My eyes are blurry. Yes, she is cute. Yes, Miss Coco. She's a sweet girl. She is a very loving cat, and my daughter has never been diagnosed with autism, but really she is on the spectrum and stims and was nonverbal for a while. So they typically don't diagnose girls with autism. It's a weird thing. I had to pay $500 for them to not say that she has autism. It would be high functioning autism, but whatever. But this cat has been her best friend and has brought her a lot of comfort and love. And my daughter loves Coco very much, as do I. But Coco is like a little angel because she really gave my daughter. I don't know. I think animals are like therapy for people, really, and vice versa. Yes, and they're very smart. They're very smart and loving. So yeah, about ready to go here. Well, if any questions come in after I leave, I can answer them in the community section. So yeah, it is good. It's good. And Julia, she's now obviously she's verbal. She talks very much, very smart, very funny, and she loves cats. And she does. It's funny because today she sent me. Let me. Okay, so my daughter is very intelligent, very savvy. I don't need to say that, but I'm just saying it because I don't want her to be embarrassed if she ever knows that I'm doing this. But we have our silly moments too, and I let her have her silly moments. And she sent me this recording today. Let's see if can which the one. She just randomly sent me this recording, and this is our life. Where is it? Wait, did she take it? Maybe she took it. Maybe it was like not. She sent me a recording where she's saying like a cat. Is it? Oh, is this it? No, that's different. Where is it? Maybe she took it away. Oh, I wanted to hear it again. Is that it? No, that's not it. All right. She must have taken it down. She sent me a recording of her singing like a cat and it's gone. And then I sent her a cat recording as well. That's how we talk. We talk about cats a lot. Um, and we're silly about it. So cats rule the world. And doggies. And there's my doggie. All right. I got to get up. I got to take care of this puppy dog and feed him. And love you. Thanks for being here. I may be back tomorrow. We could talk about politics again. If anything weird happens, hopefully nothing weird happens. But otherwise, yeah, I could do a live album thing and see if I get hit by copyright for my own music. That could happen. So anyway, thanks for being here. You too. Have a good blessing. Have a good evening and blessings to you, both of you. Love you. Thanks for being here. I will see you later. There we go.